All right, so listen, I'm gonna do a Q&A. I typically do not go live on YouTube, but I have some questions on my phone. So these are commonly asked credit questions. A lot of times I get questions in my inbox. I get questions in my DM. Just a lot of people just really trying to understand their credit better. Now, listen, if you are watching my videos, um, if you have been getting the information that I have been teaching, I've been uploading videos pretty much for the last couple years um, on real estate credit, personal credit, business credit, how to build your credit, how to rebuild your credit, how to fix your credit. So if you happen to see this live later, then you can always post a comment or a question below. Um, I'm just pulling up the actual questions now. So I'm gonna pull this up, and then I'm gonna give pretty much what's taking place. All right, so let's see. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. I am gonna save this live. All right, so I mean we pretty much know this first one, but it is a common question because it does differ when it comes to your business credit and your personal credit. Um, so the first question is what is it? What is a credit score, right? So we all know a credit score is pretty much a calculation of our five credit factors. However, that credit score ranges from 300 to 850. Now, I'm trying to just think of some different information I give you. Now, one thing that's important about the credit score, besides the actual ranges, is when you are trying to get a mortgage, when you are trying to get a loan, what type of scoring model is that lender going to use? So a lot of times when people are confused, right, about their Vantage score versus their FICO score, it's simply because uh depending on what lender you go to, they may use a different scoring model. So you definitely want to be super, super mindful of that. We want to make sure that even with different credit cards, you hear people say all the time, uh, this particular company pulls from Experian, this particular company pulls from Equifax, right? So if you know that information ahead of time and you are specifically looking at your Equifax credit score, then you are going to know exactly what lender they pulling from, right? So now we talk about those five factors of credit, right? What are the five factors of credit? Now, a lot of these topics that I'm just touching on, that I'm just doing a Q&A on, based off some of the questions that I already have, are already in full detail videos, right? But those five factors of credit are the payment history, our utilization, our credit history, our credit mix, and our new credit. So those are the five factors of credit, right? As we can see, out of those five factors, payment history is 35%. That 35% is the highest percentage, meaning it has the most impact, right? So five factors of credit. Now this is actually I think a good one right here, right? How often should I check my credit report? How often should I check my credit report? So now, honestly, you can check your credit report every 30 days, but you do not want to get just too obsessed with just checking your credit, checking your credit, checking your credit every 5 seconds, right? However, if you are trying to get approved for a mortgage, let's say you're looking to get a mortgage in the next 60 to 90 days. In that case scenario, you want to be checking your credit every 30 days. Even if you was looking to get a mortgage, let's just say in the next 6 months, you will be checking your credit pretty much every 30 days, because you want to understand where you are. Like I said, you want to make sure that you understand what FICO model and things like that the mortgage company is using, so that you can have an understanding, and you're not just looking at your Credit Karma, which is showing your Vantage score, and then you're confused on why you go to the mortgage company and then you're not approved, right? So if you were just the average everyday person, let's just say overall you have a pretty good credit score, you have a pretty solid credit score, you can check your credit score every few months. Um, if you have poor credit and you're in the process of repairing your credit, you will need to check your credit scores every single month. You will need to, utilize that information. Why? Because one, you need that information to dispute, and then number two, you need that information to actually see updates and changes to your credit report. So that's definitely a good question. So it really just depends on your current situation. Um, I have a video on this as well, which is difference between hard inquiries and soft inquiries, right? Um, and that's a good one. Let me just send this message really quick, right? So if we're talking about soft inquiries versus hard inquiries, right? That's a really good one, because a lot of times, if you ever notice, um, you ever go apply for credit, and or you're thinking about applying for some type of credit, and then it says, you know, pre approval, don't have to check your credit score, no effect to your credit score, right? So typically, when it says no effect to your credit score, what happens is the lender pretty much does like a soft kind of review, a summary of what your current history is, and then they'll base your approval off of that, where they don't really have to actually pull your complete credit reports and see everything. As if when you get the hard inquiry and they pull in your whole file, they pull in everything, and that's when you'll get that hard pull, and that's when you'll get those dings on your credit report, regardless if you get approved or regardless if you get denied. So um let's make that part clear. So regardless of if you are approved, regardless on if you are denied, you will get that hard pull on your credit report, right? So next we have, now this is pretty much a loaded question, but next we have how can I improve my credit score? And it's so many ways to improve your credit score. It's so many ways to improve your credit score. And it really just depends on where you currently are with your credit, right? So when you're saying how can you improve your score, you want to ask yourself, what exactly are you looking to improve, right? Are you looking to improve your account standings? Are you looking to improve the number of accounts you have? Are you looking to improve your payment history? Are you looking to improve, um, you know, the deletions? You've been in the credit review process. You've been trying to get some deletions. What exactly are you looking to improve? Now, if you just completely overall have a poor score, then you may just need to improve everything, which means that you got to start from the bottom. You got to start from ground zero, and you have to work your way up. But what I explain to people all the time, when people get really, really, when people get really, really, just I think just discouraged. People get really, really discouraged. On how to improve their credit scores, and not being able to do it quick enough, and then give up on the process. And this is why I explain to people, I explain so much, don't give up on your credit, don't give up on the process. um, but as we know, some of the most simplest ways, and I've said this in tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of videos. The simplest ways is paying your bills on time. The simplest ways is decreasing your debt, because these are immediate actions. That's the thing about when you either say you have a late payment, you're 30 days late. If you miss another payment, you're 60 days late. Now you have two late payments. If you make that actual payment on your credit card, you just stopped yourself from losing points by getting another late payment, right? If you have a credit card and your limit is $1,000, your limit is $1,000. And I'm checking this, I'm really making sure I'm checking this for the sound, because I did a video, and you guys can check that out, on liquidating credit cards, and some people was telling me that the sound was really off. So since I don't typically go live on YouTube, I didn't even post about it on social media, Precious Credit Management. So you can follow me, follow my business page, Precious Credit Management. Visit the website, preciouscredit.net. And I appreciate the people that have followed me. I appreciate the people that comment. I appreciate the people that give me feedback. Like I said, the video where someone was saying that my sound was off. So when you see me keep continuously looking, I'm making sure that my sound is actually good, right? But paying your bills on time, decreasing your debt, your utilization, um, managing the debt that you currently have. This is so undermined when it comes to credit management, managing the debt that you already have. Because what you have to understand is that the whole point in you wanting to even fix your credit is the fact that you want to get approved for more credit. So if you're not already managing that credit that you have available, it is very, very difficult for you to get more credit. It is very difficult for you to be able to pretty much just handle more and get more. So not only is you gonna have a difficult time getting more, but you handling more. Like, you don't want to just keep hitting more and more and more and more and more on your plate if you cannot handle it, right? Meaning, if you already have, you could easily already have 5 different sources of debt easily. You can have one debt could be a credit card, one debt could be a student loan, one debt could be an auto loan, one debt could be a mortgage. And that's very common. How many people have a student loan, an auto loan, a mortgage, and a credit card all at the same time? So if you already have each of these debts, not to mention you may have multiple credit cards. So now if your credit score is poor, and your credit score is not where you want it to be, then now you're trying to figure out, how do I get more credit? But managing the credit that you already have is super, super important, right? So another thing too that's important, and I touched on this in another video, which was uh keeping old accounts open, right? So the longer that you keep these accounts open, the more you are able to build your reputation, and the more you are able to actually show lenders that you can maintain and manage. If you notice, I keep saying the word manage. You can maintain and you can manage debt. You can manage debt. So there's a lot of different ways to improve your credit score. If you are disputing, I'll say this lastly about just overall improving your credit score. If you are disputing, and like I said, you may have a thin credit profile. You may just need to add another trade line. You may just may need to go add self credit builder. You just may need to go add Experian Boost. You may just need to go add Credit Strong. You may just need to go add one of these starter accounts to your credit profile and add another positive trade line to your account. Um, So, and keeping old accounts open, right? So the longer you're keeping these accounts open, the longer you're showing that you are able to maintain having good credit, the better off you are. The better off you are. And then you are showing lenders that you can handle this consistently over time. Not just, oh, you handle credit well for the first 3 months. No, I handle credit well for 3 years, right? And longer, and you continue that process. So, number 6 is a great question. I'm gonna definitely try to make sure. I hope that I can save this live because um, I did not post anything about going live or anything like that. But I think that a lot of these and I didn't even check out any of these questions before I hopped on. I said, you know what, man, I'm gonna just hop on YouTube. I'm gonna answer a couple questions. I'm gonna stay on for about 30 minutes. Um, if I get feedback on whether I should go live more, whether I should do Q&As more, then I'll hop on YouTube live. But like I said, you could also go to my IG and my Facebook business page, preciouscredit.net. So, uh, what should you do? What should I do if I find errors on my credit report, right? So, what should you do if you find errors on your credit report? So the first thing you want to do if you find errors on the credit report is you want to dispute. You want to dispute that information right away. Now it depends what it is. If it's your personal information that you need to be updated and changed, then you want to request you want to request for that information to be updated, right? If you're if it's a collection account that is reporting inaccurate, then you want to dispute that information, and you have to, just like you see me put on my regular videos. um just like you see me put on a lot any of my videos. Any information you dispute, yep, for sure, Dookie, so let me talk to me. Any information that you dispute, you have to pitch your reason. You can't just say, hey, I want to dispute this information because it's inaccurate. You have to make sure you are saying why you want to dispute it, what your reason is, right? What is the inaccurate information that you see, and those details. That's important when it comes to disputing. So like I said, and I'll even give an example. I was looking at I was looking at a credit report like literally last week, right? I'm looking at a credit report last week, and the birthday was wrong, right? Her birthday was May like 96. The birthday was they had Experian had a report, and that's January. So this is why I always explain to people, check your credit reports, check your personal information, because a lot of times too, that can be a sign of identity theft. Like when your information is just all over the place. Dookie, I don't see your. Okay, I'm not sure. All right, I'm a little bit new to this. Right. So yeah, Dookie, I'm the host. So go ahead, ask me a question. I'm definitely doing a Q&A. So any questions that you have about your credit, I want you to type it. You can type it in the chat. Any questions that you have about your credit, um, just type it in the chat, and I'll be glad to go ahead and answer that for you. So, all right. So finding errors on the credit report. Right. So like I said, you want to send these information. You want to send this information to. You can send this information to credit bureaus. You can send this information uh to the actual collector as well. It really just depends on what you're disputing. Now, if it's identity theft, if you are disputing identity theft, right? If you are disputing identity theft, then uh you can file an identity theft complaint, identitytheft.gov. You can file an affidavit, you can file a police report. You can also send that information in with the letter that you are stating that this particular account is identity theft. You also, if you do not have those documents, if you do not have them documents, you can still send in your letter stating that the item is identity theft. I have gotten plenty of items removed without like police reports, but if you have one or if you gotten one taken care of, then it could just help you get it removed quicker, pretty much, right? So, and like you already know, you can do it by mail. You already know you can do it on the phone. You could do it online. I send my letters through the mail, but if you want to send yours online, or you could send it online, you can still get deletions that way. But I've sent mine through the mail. And we all know they have 30 days, right? Okay, now this is a big one too, because this is a super myth that a lot of people um I think is a little confusing. And I think that goes back to when I was talking about getting a pre-approval in a soft pull versus a hard pull. Because when you're the question is, does checking my credit reports lower my credit scores, right? So when you are checking your own credit reports, when you are pulling your own credit reports, it does not lower your credit score. You are allowed to pull your own credit reports without hurting your credit score. It is when creditors pull your credit report is when your score get dinged, like we talked about earlier in the video. Hard inquiries, those hard inquiries is where you will get that ding on your credit report. So it will not. The simple answer is no, 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 no. It will not hurt your credit score, right? All right. And this, I actually was going to do a whole video on this, so I'm actually glad I'm going to touch on this. So definitely, it don't hurt your credit score. Make sure you are checking your credit scores in your credit report. Make sure when you are checking your credit scores in your credit report that you are checking all three bureaus: TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. All right, so how long do negative items stay on my credit report? I think I'm gonna answer 10 right now, and I'm at number 8. Uh, I'm gonna go for, like I said, I'm gonna go for about 30 minutes. Mr. Dookie has left the chat, but I appreciate you, my brother, for joining. I appreciate you for coming in, tapping in with me. Um, you could have got disconnected, but leave your comment below, leave your comment underneath another video, and I'll definitely get back to you. So, all right, how long do negative items stay in your credit report, right? Now, so they stay on your credit report for 7 years, but 7 years after the default date. So once you default on that account, meaning the account is now delinquent, the account is now in negative status. Now the account is officially defaulted on, right? From that date is when that account will get removed. So if that account was defaulted on in 2014, then those 7 years will come around by 2014. So that 7 years will come around in 2021. So 7 years from default date. Now, if you are disputing, if you are cleaning up your credit, if you are getting negative items removed off of your credit, then you can get items removed off of your credit before 7 years, right? It is very possible. Now, a lot of times I've looked at credit reports. I've seen credit reports where there was information on the credit report from 1994. So sometimes, and this is why it goes back to looking at your credit report. Sometimes this is why you have to look at the credit report, because not only was this account from 1994, it was literally over almost 30 years old. So that's why we gotta check our credit report. So the typical time Average 7 years without disputing. But if you go through the disputing process, knock some things out, you could beat that 7 year mark. All right, so we got, what is a good credit score? So good credit score, if we go from X, so we already know from 300 to 850, right? So if we going from excellent credit, we going 750 or above. We going good credit, we going 700 to 459 pretty much. Fair credit by the 650, and then poor credit pretty much anything below that. Now, you can still get approved for a car loan. You still can get approved for a mortgage. A lot of times when you have poor credit, it's just going to cost you way more. I talk about it all the time in the videos. I talk about the interest rates. I talk about it all the time. I talk about it all the time. They go to get you when you got when you have the bad credit. Now, this is the great part about having good credit and having great credit. Once you get past that 730, 740 range, you are pretty much going to get the same approval odds as someone who has an 800 credit score, because you meet that criteria. Even when you have good credit and you are at a 700, 720 or above, you pretty much still are going to get very favorable terms when it comes to lending, right? And then we already know, once we get in those 500s, low 600s, low 400s, um, we got some work to do. All right. Now, this is actually the perfect last question I am going to answer for tonight. Now, if I had more people, I'm going to jump back on YouTube. I may jump back on tomorrow, man. But I have some. I'm going to. I'll put a post up. If I jump back on, I'll put a post up. Have some people come on, ask some questions, and we'll just get straight to it. You already know, because the thing about it, when I see how many people watch that eviction video, the video I did on how to rent an apartment with eviction on your record, I was like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? Like, people need that. People need that information. People want that game. And I'm glad that I'm posting this on YouTube, but I see it a lot on Instagram and Facebook too. But so many people, oh, y'all know y'all gotta see the shirt. Yeah, I see how we thugging. You know, with the Credit Hero shirt. Y'all already know how we bumming. You know? So a lot of y'all is seeing so much information out here, and it's unfortunate because it sounds so good and they selling it to you so well, man. So I want to come on here and make sure I'm giving y'all the real game, the realistic game. Everything that, the thing about it real quick is, most people are telling like half the truth. The things they telling you is true. It's just the process and the ways they explain it to you is they leaving out some important details. So our last question is, how can I get a free credit report? Right. So we didn't got to question number 10. Um, Pretty much at the 30-minute mark, how to get a free credit report. That's the last question we're gonna answer. We talked about how to get the credit scores. What's a good credit score? Uh, checking your credit report, check your credit score, finding errors on your credit report, how to improve your credit score, difference between soft inquiries and hard inquiries, how often should you check your credit report, what factors affect your credit score, and what is a credit score. So when we go to how to get your free credit report, annualcreditreport.com, annualcreditreport.com, you can get free copies of your credit report. You can download your credit reports. You can print out your credit reports. All right, so make sure, like I told you guys, it is super important to make sure you are checking your credit, especially if you're in the process of looking to get approved for something, if you are trying to make something happen, right? So make sure you check your credit. Make sure you're going on annualcreditreport.com to get those copies for free. Make sure you are going to preciouscredit.net for your credit needs. Make sure you are liking, subscribing, commenting. Give me your feedback because I will start to go live more on YouTube and do a Q&A. But I wanted to hop on for a few quick 30 minutes. So even if you see this video after I upload, I am going to say, make sure y'all get with me, man. I'm going to see y'all next time. Peace. I don't even know how to